Well, it's nice to be back at the Soul Star Festival. I was here last time, as Bryony said, had a great time talking about the wisdom of the heart, heart intelligence. And last time we talked about intuition and the different kinds of intuition and essentially how that's a function of the heart. When we talk about heart science, we can very easily explain the different kinds of intuition. Today, in my slot, I've got a slightly shorter slot, so I'm actually going to take things back a notch and really kind of just go back to basics. My plan was to actually do a bit of a meditation with everybody during this, but I think I'm going to slightly change the program for myself because I'm not sure it's going to work with the sound this way, so I've got a little something else planned at the end, a bit of an activity for us. But let me start at the beginning and let me ask you guys this. If we went out in the street right now and asked the average person on the street how they perceive the world, which part of their body they used to understand the world around them, to perceive the world around them, where do you think they'd point? Which body part do you think they'd point at? I'm getting a lot of people pointing at their head, and they're absolutely right, because that's kind of how society has kind of brought us up to perceive the world. You know, our sight, our touch, our smell, our feel, and our taste, everything appears to arrive here, and then we make decisions about how to go around about the place. We make decisions from our head. Well, I'm here to tell you, energetically speaking, it's down here, right? So that's probably no surprise to a lot of people in this room, and it's largely why you're attracted to an event like this, because you kind of understand that already, right? I'm right? I'm getting a lot of nods. So that's absolutely true. And science now shows us that the integration point for all of life's experiences, it starts at the heart. Energetically speaking, when you see something, when you touch something, when you smell something, the experience is first felt energetically right here, right in the center of your chest. And from that point, signals from the heart are then sent up to the brain, and a decision is made, or you know, the information is processed in such a way to make sense of the finite world around us. Are you with me so far? So, scientifically speaking, the heart is energetically the most powerful organ in the body. It's actually far more powerful than the brain. And from the point of view of electrical signals and electrical processing, far more signals are sent from the heart to the brain than the brain back down to the heart. It literally, by a factor of thousands, it's not even a close race. The heart is by far the most powerful organ. As a result of that, it has the most powerful electromagnetic field around it. Are you with me? So all of our organs are all producing electrical stimuli because they all have processes to do. So they all have different strengths and different fields. The heart has by far the most powerful energetic field. So when we feel out into the universe, it's generally we're doing it with the heart. And this is an interesting fact, but heart energy, the energy emanating from our heart, in 2019, science can actually test and measure that field 25 feet away from our body. All right? So if you look around the room today and you see people that are within a 25-foot radius of you, they're actually feeling your heart energy and you're feeling theirs. So the frequency that's in that kind of arc is kind of, you know, it's kind of all those energies in together. So when you're sitting in a room like this and you've got a lot of people in that 25-foot radius of yourself, the vibration is kind of a collaborative result of all of those energies coming together. So that's pretty cool, right? And we're going to work with that today, and I'm going to give you a few ways that we can actually work with that information. But firstly, I want to say this, and that is that energy waves, energy fields, physics tells us, what do? They go on forever, right? They go on forever. That's physics, that's science. So what does that say about ourselves as human beings? Well, the edges of our body, our skin, the perimeter of our body, that's certainly not where we end, right? Absolutely not. So science tells us that now. We go on forever. Isn't that cool? As our heart energy expands outwards, it gets infinitesimally smaller. There's no doubt about that. The only reason that science can measure at 25 feet is because the instruments that we have in 2019 are only that fine-tuned. right? But the fact of the matter is we absolutely go on forever. And I just want to put that out there because that is such a beautiful thing. It means that Asher Packman, my footprint is on Mars. My individual footprint is as far as the universe is large, and we know that that's infinite, so therefore I am infinite. And that's the same with every single person in this room. So I just think that's a beautiful fact, right? You know, you can talk about it scientifically now, and it stacks up. We go on forever. And I think that's beautiful. So the next thing is, if we bring it back closer to home, if the heart is feeling into the world, and it's the first place where my experience hit me, and then that signal is then sent to the brain, I better start thinking about the quality of that signal, right? Because if I'm sending a signal up to my brain which is dissonant or incoherent or a little bit wobbly, what's going to happen to my brain and what's going to happen to my decision making, my cognitive function? It's not going to be optimal, right? So everything from decision making, clarity, memory, spatial awareness, all these types of things that we do up here with our brains is going to be impacted if there's an unfriendly signal coming up from my heart. And when I say unfriendly signal, what do you think I'm talking about? I'm talking about depleting emotions like fear and anger and things like that. If that's what I'm receiving first in the heart from my experiences in the outside world, and I'm sending that incoherent signal up to my brain, then I'm going to have cognitive impairment. It's as simple as that. And I don't like to talk about negative emotions, so I won't say that it's negative emotions. I think all emotions are fine. It's just how we manage them. I think the idea of having negative emotions is incorrect. They're just emotions. It's how we handle them. But the flip side of that is, if we are operating from a place of renewing emotion, like love, appreciation, joy, gratitude, what do you think happens to that signal going up to the brain? Well, it's a very clear, it's a very coherent, it's a very resonant signal. And the brain, well, the mind and the heart then fall into complete alignment, and suddenly I have improved cognitive abilities. I'm able to think straight. I have a better memory. I have clarity of thought. I have focus. I have spatial awareness. So that's the way it works. And my suggestion to all of us out here is to start to learn how to live heart first. Learn how to live a heart-conscious life. Lead with your heart. And last time I was here, I talked about intuition, and that's how that happens. We start getting a coherent signal between the heart and the mind, and suddenly our intuition gets better, right? And we can talk about different kinds of intuition, but you know, Bryony was up here talking about learning how to flex your intuition muscle just like a bicep and work on it. Well, the starting place for that is to start to send a nice coherent signal from your heart up into your mind, and then everything will start to operate more effectively, including intuition. Does that sound good? All right. So that's one part of the puzzle, and this normally leads up to a beautiful heart meditation. I'm going to do something slightly different today, but I hope you guys will still enjoy it. But the other part of the other piece of the puzzle, I guess, is the heart itself. The heart itself. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but the heart is 65% neural cells. If people don't know what that means, it means that it's 65% a brain. It's more than half a brain, okay? So it's also got a ganglion nerve system in it, which is kind of like the data storage center, the same as in our brain. What that actually means is the heart can directly store memories, all right? That's pretty cool when you think about it. So what kind of memories do you think might get stored in the heart? Strong emotional ones, right? They're stored directly in the heart. So the beautiful thing is, if we can start to access those memories which are in the heart and bring them out and start to have them flourish, and they're all, you know, renewing emotions like love and gratitude and appreciation and the types of and awe and wonder and all these beautiful things, if we can tap into those and bring them out, well, that's how we start to develop a nice clear signal up to the mind, and we start to get this beautiful heart-mind alignment, and everything starts to sing in our life, right? And not only that, when we're in that state, when we're in that coherent state, that's also when healing starts to take place. So I know there's been a lot of talk about healing so far this morning with Charlie and so forth, but if you're in that coherent space, that's when you allow healing to come into your life, because when you've got a nice coherent signal like that and the body is relaxed and the heart and the mind are all working together, that's when you get these beautiful hormones like oxytocin and serotonin and DHEA flooding through the body. And those are the healing hormones, you know? Those are the hormones which allow for this deep healing, like right down to the DNA, right down to that fundamental level. And I'll let you in on a bit of a secret about myself. I'm battling cancer right now. So that is a very big deal for me. So for those of you that are suffering from chronic health or other stuff going on in your life, this practice of getting into our heart and really feeling that love and that gratitude and getting the signals sorted out between our hearts and our minds, that is critical to healing, because you can do all the healthy things in the world that you want, but you will not start to heal effectively until you have this right, because your body is blocked to it, right? You know, it's just not going to allow all those beautiful nutrients and meditation and all the other things you're doing to work fully until you've figured out this heart-mind connection and become coherent. If it's all disjointed, then you're not giving your body that opportunity to heal. So it's not just about how you show up in the outside world. It's also about what's going on inside your body. And of course, if you've got this beautiful, coherent energy that you're emanating 25 feet and beyond to the world, you can fix others as well, right? You're sending that love out there, and you can raise the vibration of other people. That's not a hippie term. We can actually prove that scientifically now. So, you know, put it to the test. You know, I like to walk through shopping centres and kind of beam love at someone, and watch how many turn around. Something just hit me, you know what I mean? Because you've raised their vibration a little bit. It's fun stuff. So that's where we are. Right now, I'd normally move into a bit of a heart meditation. I'm going to do something slightly different with this group, just because of the sound and the environment here. And that needs a 1-minute setup. So yeah, so I'm going to do this in about just a minute, yeah? Okay. So we understand that energy in this world can't be created, can't be destroyed, right? Does everybody know that? The universe is a closed loop. So the energy is the energy, right? No one's creating any energy and no one's destroying it. All we're doing is transforming it. So this little exercise is about transforming energy. It's a little bit of a heart meditation, but it uses that principle. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do, if you can all hear me, yeah? I'm going to ask you guys to close down your eyes. Can we do that? All right, and we're going to move through this a bit quickly, but that's fine. So just start to find your breath. Just start to notice your breath, breathing in and out. Just finding your rhythm of breath. Just letting go of everything else that's going on in the room here, in the building, and just bringing your attention back inside, coming home. Maybe on each in-breath, just allowing yourself to sink a little deeper. All right, now let's drop the focus of our attention now to the center of our chest. Just feel yourself drop in, tune in to what's going on in your heart space. Just notice. You might see a color or a shape or just whatever's going on for you right now there. Doesn't matter what it is, no judgment, just allow. Okay. And I just invite you to bring someone into your heart right now that you love. Just feel their presence. Just kind of bringing one of those heart memories to the surface. Just see them there in all their detail. Feel the love between the two of you, and just allow that to kind of be. And just emanating out from your heart space and feeling it move into the rest of your body. And as you do that, I'd like you to imagine your breath working in time with the energy in your heart. So on the in-breath, drawing the energy in, and on the out-breath, sending it out. You might notice the colors intensify, or whatever's going on for you is right. All right, now from this heart-centered place, it's time to be a bit honest with ourselves, because we've basically aligned our hearts and mind now. So I'd ask you to bring into your heart a little story that you tell about yourself. Maybe a not so good one. Be honest with yourself right now. Is there a story that is recurring all the time for you from your mind? But this time we're going to land it in our heart. We've all got them. We're human. It's part of the deal. All right, I want you to just let that sit there. Let that sit there. Fill it with love. Fill it with these renewing emotions. And when you're ready, I'm going to ask you to reopen your eyes again. All right, so we've gone through that a bit quickly, but that's the time we've got. That's fine. Now, what I want you to do when you get home is I want you to write that down on a piece of paper, okay? I want you to write that down on a piece of paper, and I want you to burn it, okay? And there's a reason for that. Remember, even write it down on your phone so you remember what to write down, but there's a reason for that, because we've just moved energy around. We've moved it from our head to our heart, and when you get home, you're actually going to move it through your arm, out your hand, through your fingers, through the pen, and onto a piece of paper. And that energy, because we've transformed it, is literally going to be on that piece of paper. And then we're going to transform that once again by burning it. And that's a ceremony, and that's a blessing, and that's that gone. That energy is gone. You've moved through it in the most beautiful way possible, because you've moved it into your heart, you've dealt with it, and then you've literally moved it outside the body, and you've gotten rid of it by burning it, which is transforming that energy once again, because you can't destroy it, you can't create it, you can only transform it. Everyone going to do that when they get home? All right. Well, thanks for having me. That's it.